Assalamu alaikum dear students. Hope you will be fine and good. Today we are going to start the new topic of chapter 5, which is about germination. The previous topic of this chapter you will studied in your physical classes. And today I am going to start the new topic, which is germination. So what does it mean by the germination? Germination is that term or in that condition in which the plants grow in their favorable conditions, like correct temperature, air, clear, and that things which is needed for the plant. This is called the germination. So the development of the plant from a seed or spore after a period of the dormancy. Clear? The development of a plant or the plant which is developed in or that seed which is developed into a proper plant is called germination after a period of the dormancy. So what does it mean by the dormancy? Dormancy is the resting period of the seed, that period in which the conditions are not favorable for the seed, in which the seed can't grow into a new plant. So this is called the dormancy. So what does it mean by the germination? In which the plants grow into a new plant, in which the seed grow or in which the embryo grow into a new plant. So what does it mean by the embryo? A miniature plant inside the seed is called the embryo. That thing in which the seed inside the seed which is present and that thing is developed into a new plant is called the embryo. So embryo consists of the some parts are divided into some parts in which each plants are responsible for the each growing part, like radicle inside the seed or the deepness of the seed or the groove of the seed having small hair-like structure called radicle, which is this radicle gives rise a root. These radicals develop into a root. Clear? It is present in the mid section. You can see in that picture at the mid, at the groove, at the deepness of the seed, there is a small hair-like structure which is called radicle, and this radicle gives rise or develop into a part called the root, and these roots are growing inside the earth or ground. Clear? Downward move karega. Now the next one part is plumule, a miniature shoot, that part which grows upward of the earth, upward of the ground. Clear? Like stem, leaves, these are the shoot which grows upwards. So the plumule gives rise the shoots and then goes towards the upward. The next one is cotyledons. One or two seed leaves is called the cotyledons. You can see at your hand the beans which is divided into the each part. Clear? In the each part is called the cotyledons. You can see in that picture the seed having the two structure. Each structure is called the cotyledon and collectively called the cotyledons. Clear? And the whole structure is seed and we call them embryo because embryo is a miniature plant, a baby plant which gives rise a full-fledged or full proper plant, having a too much or having a proper characteristic, having a proper information related to the new plant. Clear, girls? So this seed having the some structure in which I am telling about it, that radicle or the plumule. Radicle gives rise the root and the plumule gives rise the shoot. Now the outer covering is called seed coat, in which in the scientific terms we call them testa, T-E-S-T-A, testa. Clear? And after testa se pehle kya hota hai? Endosperm, which covers the embryo, which protects the embryo, and testa or the seed could protects the seed. Clear, girls? Now stored food, that food which are stored present inside the cotyledons. Endosperm, which cover the embryo, which surrounds the embryo, which protects the embryo. Now what is the seed coat? Which is surround the or present after the endosperm and which covers the embryo, which protects the seed from the outside or external environment. So dormancy, what does it mean by the dormancy? We have studied that seed having some structures in which we are talking about that radicle, endosperm, plumule and seed coat. These are the some parts of the seed which gives rise into a new plant. Now what does it mean by term dormancy? Resting period of the plants. That period in which plants are not suitable for the growing. Clear? And which the conditions are not favorable. The air are not favorable, the soil are not favorable. The sunlight are not reached to the plant. So these conditions are, if these conditions are not favorable for the plant, so the plants can't grow in these conditions. So that period or that resting period is called the dormancy. Resting period of the plant in which the plants can't grow. Embryo remains dormant until the conditions are right for it start to grow. Clear? The embryo remains dormant. The embryo doesn't grow if the conditions are not favorable for it. Some seeds can stay dormant in the soil for up to 50 years. The seed can be dormant up to 50 years. If the conditions are not suitable here for that, so they can be dormant or they cannot be grow. So the germination of the broad bean seed. So what is the germination or what is the condition for the broad bean seed? Clear? First of all, we have to, broad bean is sown under the soil, inside the soil. We have to be sown the seed inside the soil. Then what we have to do, we gives the water to the soil or to the seed. First takes in water, then water makes the seed swell. The seeds are the water are moves inside the seed, from where here is a small pore or a tiny hole is present inside the seed, through which the pollen grain are entered. So in this way, through this hole, the water are enter inside the seed. So in this way, the seeds are swell up. Clear? After taking water, the embryo starts to grow. After taking that enough water, they starts to grow, in which the some parts are clearly seen. Like the radicle pushes through the seed coat to the outside. It pushes out or moves out from outside or from the seed coat towards the outside. The roots grows downward, then the tiny hair grow out of it into the soil. Then the roots grow downward. We have some structures or we have some parts of the plant like stem, leaves, shoots and the roots. You know very well about it. The roots goes downward and the roots are present inside the earth and the shoot and the stems are grown upward. Clear, girls? So when the radicle arise from the seed coat, so what will happen? The radicals have the ability to grow the roots. So these roots are grow inside the earth. These roots here, when take in water, it dissolves salt and minerals from the soil. So it takes water from the soil and it takes minerals. So minerals having like calcium, phosphorus, magnesium, etc. And these are important or these are very, very needed for the plant growth. These are the nutrients for the plant. Clear? So when we sown the seed, they start to grow and they get up or they get the minerals from the soil. Why they need the minerals? Because these minerals are the nutrients and they are able, if they get the nutrients, so then they are able to grow into a new plant, into a proper plant. Clear, guys? You can see in that picture. Clear? In the first picture, we sown the seed in the water and we give the water. Wait, above the ground shoot grows into the green leaves. Clear? When we sow the seed inside the earth and then we give the water, so the seed are differentiated into radicle, and these radicle are differentiated into roots, and then shoots are arises from the seed. Then we call them seedling, a small miniature plant called seedling. Then after it, the flower or the plant are developed into a proper plant, in which we having flower, both seed, leaves, stem. Clear? So above the ground shoot grows into the ground green leaves. They are developed into a green leaves. At the time of the growth, the seedling has not been able to make any food for itself. Clear? When the seedling are developed, so it's not able to make the food for itself. So the seedling has been fed by the two thick seed leaves are the cotyledons. So these seedlings are get the food from the seed, because the process of the photosynthesis are not started at yet. So they get the food from the seed, because the cotyledons having the enough food or having the enough energy. Cotyledons occupy most of the area inside the food, because they are large in size and they occupy the most area. These cotyledons are packed with the food. They are having enough food. They are having enough food for the growing plant. After time, new leaves and roots are forming, giving us a small or seedling. After some time, they are developed into a new plant. Little bud at the top of these small plant will grow on growing. A little bud are developed at the tip, and they are developed later and into a proper plant. You can see in that picture, we sown the seed, which having the seed coat, and inside it the seed is present. When you give the water to it, the seed are absorb the water and develop into a plumule radicle. Clear? In which the radicle gives rise the roots and the plumule gives rise the shoot. Then the seedling are developed. After it, a proper plant developed. The plants are developed in some are proper condition, in which the correct temperature, air, water, sunlight are needed for it. If in these there is no one, or if there is any one of them are absent, so it's not able for them to grow into a new plant. So for that condition, for the germination, the special conditions are needed for it, in which the correct temperature, humidity, air, water, minerals, sunlight are needed for it. Clear? So in these conditions, they are able to grow into a new plant. Clear? In which one of them is the minerals which are present inside the soil, which is needed for the plant growth. Clear? These are the food. We need the food, now we need the energy. Clear? So they get the food, or their food or their nutrients are the minerals. So they prepare their food in the presence of the sunlight, in the presence of the carbon dioxide, and the presence of the water. After that reaction, they prepare their food by the process of the photosynthesis, and they form the glucose molecule, and they are called the autotrophic. Plants are the autotrophic in nature, because they can prepare their own food. What does it mean by the autotrophic? Autotrophic means in which the plants can grow. In which the plants can prepare their own food by itself. Clear? By the process of photosynthesis. These are called the autotrophic, which can prepare their own food, and the human beings are the heterotrophic, which cannot prepare their own food. Clear, guys? So this is all about the germination, in which we study about the embryo, a miniature plant which is present inside the seed, and seed having enough information to grow into a new proper plant. And after this, sometimes the seed having some structures, in which one of them are radicle, plumule, cotyledons. Clear? These are the special structures or specific structures for the embryo. The radicle are developed into a roots, plumule are developed into a shoot. And you know very well about the cotyledons, that each part of the seed, which you can see, the beans are divided into the two parts, and each part is called the cotyledons. You can see in that picture, this is the embryo or dicot, clear, in which the seed are divided into two cotyledons, and those beings having the two cotyledons called the dicot. Now you know endosperm, which surrounds the embryo, and then seed coat, which surrounds the endosperms, which cover the seed, which protect the seed. Clear, girls? This is all about our lecture. Inshallah, we will discuss the new lecture in our next class. Thank you.